Welcome to the Infinite and Beyond, the MIT Alumni Show. I'm your trusted host, Rob Kalwarowski, MIT Class of 2010, world-renowned executive coach, author, and speaker. Each week, we are sharing the stories with our friends and classmates, fellow MIT alumni who've taken action to shape the world. We'll share what we've learned, top strategies, and bring our community together to help everyone achieve our goals. No, this show is not officially affiliated with MIT, so any views expressed on this show are of the host and guest only. This show is designed to build a community that trusts, connects, and shares with each other so we can all take action towards a better world. Let's get rolling. Welcome to the Infinite and Beyond, the MIT Alumni Show. Obviously, I'm Rob Kalwarowski, back with another special guest, another 2010 and a finance wizard. Lauren Cipicchio is with us today. Lauren, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for joining us. And Lauren, of course, we have to start with the question that everyone wants to know is, what was your journey like since graduation?
Yeah, first, I can't believe it's been 15 years. But for the last 15 years, I have been deep in the world of finance. Specifically, I build analytics and data systems that turn investment ideas into more actionable trades. I've done this across a wide range of asset classes and institutions, including hedge funds, private equity, pension plans even. And the common thread has been kind of answering this question of how can you use analytics to push innovation? And usually when you want to do that, it's going to be a people problem, it's going to be a process problem, sometimes a technology problem to really unlock that new opportunity. This problem has kept me hooked. I love it because it's multi-dimensional in what it is. Some days it's a data puzzle, other days it's a people challenge or a process that needs to be reinvented. And sometimes it's knowing exactly which cutting edge technologists you need to partner with to bring it in. So I've met so many different people from wide walks of the world as I bring them into solving this problem in a different way. So yeah, that's what I've done for the last 15 years. The whole time I've been living in New York City. It's where I built my career. It's also where I became a mom. I have a 3-year-old who is curious, full of joy, and just makes me laugh every day. And after a tough personal year last year, I decided to do something big. I'm actually taking 18 months off, not to pause my life, but to live it differently. My son and I are going to travel the world together. So it's not a sabbatical from ambition, but it's just a different kind of investment in myself that I'm kind of hoping to click into soon.
Of course, it's amazing. Yeah, Eric Royland was on the show, I think a few months ago, but he was literally leaving on the plane for his 3-month world tour with his wife. It was the day after, 2 days after. So we're totally a fan of that. I guess on that world tour, what are some of the countries you're going to hit?
So for the next couple of months, I have definitely taken the how to best optimize the work for really great vacations. And so with that, added myself to other people's vacations. Someone will be like, oh, I'm going to Ireland. I'm like, great, we're coming too. Let me know your agenda. And so I'm going to get to see a lot of my friends, a lot of MIT friends across the globe. We're going to Dublin, Scandinavia. We just got back from London. We're going to South America and New Zealand. Are currently all the flights I have booked, but I have 7 more in the waiting queue right now.
Amazing. Lauren, you mentioned a lot about the problem solving. Would you be able to share an example or some example or it could be hypothetical of what kind of problem you solved in finance and how did you bring in all these other folks?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of what I ended up working on is someone would come up with an idea okay, I have this idea that we could invest in this new market in this new way. But a lot of times that's this ambiguous cloud and you don't really know how to actually take it from that ambiguous cloud to actually putting a trade on. And it needs a lot of things to support it. It will need different technology to support it. It will need different ways to gather data. So a lot of times it'd be okay, what data do we need to actually be able to have that insight and have it timely enough or high enough quality? And so it's creating that entire process that goes from this nebulous idea to something that can be worked and or done on a repeatable pattern. Sometimes for a certain fund that would be systematic, they would do it, it would literally computers would run it. But other times it's what's the process a person would do? and like which data would they pull, what technology would they look at, what calculations are they going to use, and how will they get to a point of confidence that they actually can put the trade on. And so I work really deeply with the investors on like, how do you want to think through this problem? And then bring in either like operational experts or technology experts or data experts to like really kind of figure out the right problem for how do you want to unlock that.
It sounds like one is a lot of fun, and
Yeah,
two
that's great.
is just continuously stimulating because no two problems are alike, and it's really a system and a process of solving the problem that you're refining.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren, kind of along those notes, like what are some of your biggest learnings over your career so far?
Okay. Biggest learnings. I mean, as you said, there's been so much that I've kind of got into like play with. So I have a lot of things that have kept me really intellectually curious. Okay. First, never underestimate the power of a really good cookie. Okay. Seriously, hold on. I've been in rooms that have like this tension, like people are just in the thick of it, like everything's fried, there's a deadline looming, and everything just feels stuck. Like we can't move forward. And in those moments, it's like, go have a cookie, go like have a coffee, like let's use some like metaphorical like sweetness to like lighten the mood, because we don't need another whiteboard session, and we definitely don't need another strategy doc to like get us through this thing. We need to be able to like just kind of remind ourselves we're humans working on a really tough problem, and that like through that the recognition, the kindness, the shared sugar is what actually matters.
I love this one, and I also hope it's the black and white cookie from Seinfeld.
Of course. I mean, you have to go classic, right?
That's right.
Yeah. What other things? Well, on that, like who you work with matters much more than what you're working on. So yeah, don't get me wrong, there's lots of exciting and complex, important work out there. But if the team's not right, it never works. Like the work doesn't sing, great teams unlock great ideas and they make things harder. And you need your work it doesn't need to be perfect every day, but you need it to energize you. And if you're going in and working with people that aren't energizing you, it's never going to work. And so a lot of times I also recommend that to other people, like realize what kind of person you are coming into and how you are like affecting the entire system, because small moments or small things can have a really great impact there. Yeah. I mean, so I'm a very multi-dimensional thinker. That's something I really love to do. I've actually went back to get a master's while I was working, just so I would think in a different way. And so I guess my third thing would be like more of like some of the most powerful unlocks I've seen in my career come from like borrowed ideas in really widely ranged fields, like history or design or philosophy. And then you apply it into something like data or technology or systems. And those are the moments that kind of give me the goosebumps of like, okay, like this is a pattern. It never been used in this context before, but we could do it. Or we could maybe figure this thing out. And I guess I have to land on something around change, because I'm going through this big change in my life. And I have had to tell myself this a lot, which is change, you might not have been the one who wanted change, but change happens. Like it is a big force that like disturbs everything. And I almost think about it as like the concrete that you walk on every day, all of a sudden like gets flipped on its side. And so there's a huge crevice in this concrete that you think your foundation's shattered. You think your like way of living is not going to work. Like everything about what's going on is different. But in those moments, you actually have the opportunity to like plant new wildflowers or plant something else. And there's never those opportunities when there's the concrete that's just flat and you're going along your path. And so I have to go back to that a lot. I go back to that in my career when like a big project just went off the rails, or when my boss randomly decided to like move to a different job and it was like, I was thrown into something else, or through any kind of my personal situations too. It's just, how do you embrace those moments to actually capitalize on it? I could talk about risk too. Would that be interesting?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's incredibly interesting.
So I love, I mean, obviously, I work in finance. I work in things that think about risk in all different ways, but I also think about risk in people's like lives in the way that they bet on themselves. So maybe this is my biggest learning or something, is when you're like, I know this is going to work, and maybe other people are telling you like this is too ambitious or this is not going to be the right thing to do. At those moments, you have to go all in. I had 2 moments in my career where I went all in. I told someone, like, let me run this project. If it works, amazing, pay me for it. If it doesn't, I'll walk away. No harm, no foul. But I know this is the thing we need to do, and I want to put it against that. And if you're not willing to ever make those kind of bets, you kind of ask yourself, what are you playing for? What are you trying to do? Because at one point, you're going to have that kind of conviction, and you got to play the hand.
When you were at MIT, did you feel like you were the only one who didn't belong? Do you compare yourself with successful classmates? Do you feel like you're constantly needing to do more to feel like you're enough? Many of us feel that. I felt it too, but you don't have to feel that way anymore. You can get better results, achieve more, and feel more fulfilled doing it. I can say that because I've done it, and I coach my clients to do it too. I use scientifically proven methods, including internal family systems, values-based leadership, and habit-building techniques to transform your psychology and your life. These trusted strategies will get you results quickly, in some cases, even in our first session, and they'll last you for years. Now, my coach isn't just about learning. It's about taking action and creating results. Results that'll boost your confidence, unlock doors to opportunities you never thought possible, and equip you with strategies that only a select few ever master. But here's the thing, the longer you wait, the more opportunities slip by. Imagine what your life could look like just weeks from now. Having taken the first step, take action now. Go to robkalwarowski.com and book a complimentary call with me. So I love this advice. And I also, obviously now as an independent business owner, I also agree with it, right? And I just want to say to folks out there, this is hard, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of us have been raised in environments where we're minimizing risk, or we're taught to do that. Like my dad, he worked his entire career in the federal government in Canada. So it's like he basically was trying to risk minimize his career, right? And so for him, he was like, Rob, you should stay in corporate job and you should go full time and all these things, right? And so some of that sticks with you, right? But it's part of exactly what Lauren mentioned with change is in order for you to hit that next level. And this is life. You can't really be stagnant, because if you're stagnant, one is you're always moving, but the world's changing too. And especially now at this incredible rate, economically, politically, with technologically, it's happening. And so if you're not changing, you're losing. Mm-hmm. And it's really about crafting the techniques to get out of that fear response in order to get to the self, for you to be able to unlock that perspective. And then it doesn't feel as much as a risk. It feels like who you are. And it feels like clear and confidence and just walking towards your goal.
Absolutely. So I've been getting a lot of my life lessons right now from Thomas the Tank Engine. There's a lot of things you can learn there. And one of the things I think about a lot that I learned from Thomas is to be brave, you had to be scared first. And so a lot of times when you get those moments where you're like, yes, I think I need to do this, it's clicked, I see the path, it's still going to be really scary. And it's going to still be really hard to do. So you have to have the right support systems around. And you also have to know what you're risking. And you have to be okay with losing. I gave the examples that I had. I risked my job, and I was okay with losing my job. But I would not be okay in other situations of losing something that to me would be too valuable to move forward from. So not everybody's good. And you have to think about both the upside and the downside, and make sure you are protecting yourself from a bullet risk kind of situation. But you're going to be scared. And it's going to be okay. And you'll lean into the fear, and you'll be brave. And like Thomas, you'll be great.
It's such a really important point here, right? And it's something that there's always these moments in life where you feel like you're standing at a doorway and all you see is black in front of you and unknown. Mm-hmm. And you are afraid, and every part of your ego and every part of your brain is saying don't do it, don't step forward. But if you can take that step and it feels like you're going to die, But if you can take that step, often what happens is you're caught and good things happen in different ways. But ultimately, like folks out there, you guys all went to MIT, right? You're brilliant people. And so like a lot of the stuff we're talking about here, like in terms of risk, right? It's like we can all get a job, right? It's hard, but we can all do it. But even on the other side of it, right? Like when I think about investing in myself for a lot of my career, I didn't. But it's like, okay, so I could get 8 to 9% return by putting it in the market, or I could get some infinite unlosable return if I invested in myself. Because if I learn something, I never lose that. It's like the only real risk-free investment out there.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I just think that like everyone out there, I know we feel these voices, and we've talked about on the show before, imposter syndrome, or we're not good enough, or we're this, or we're that. You are incredible. So bet on yourself. Lauren, I mean, you've been on this personal development journey. Like, what are some of the wise tidbits that you've been picking up, and how have you been transforming yourself?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I would say is it is a journey. And a lot of times you almost get stuck on like, here's the treadmill of what I'm supposed to do. And these moments of like stepping off that treadmill and saying, okay, well, what do I want to do? And what does the matter there? And not getting yourself tied up to the things you do are your identity, and how to balance all of that, I think has been one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot. And also, you create like financial safety nets, you create strong support networks. If you go through something, use it. Like, I'm thinking about my financial safety net right now as my trampoline to my next spot. I think about my support network as, if I'm not going to call in a favor today, well, why would I not? Like, that's what I would want them to do for me. And so it's also around realizing that you've created for years all the ability to make these kind of big jumps. And so it's not being reckless. It's not being unthoughtful. It's actually really capitalizing on what you've already built for a long time. I also would say, like, be open to the possibilities. I mean, after this all is done, probably 80% chance I am going to go back, do the same kind of work, live in the same kind of place, because I like my life. I like a lot of elements of it. But I'm also really excited to see if something sparks my interest differently. I have a lot of passion projects that I've been playing with, and maybe one of those will start to rear its head as like, no, this is the thing I want to do for the next 10 years or 20 years and want to invest there. And I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the conversation with someone who's like, hey, I have this cool idea. I need someone to like talk about data ideas with, and that leading to something that's actually, sustainable or surprising. And so that's the other part. It's like having a direction, but also being willing to hear the inputs of what that direction is along the way, and not holding too fixated on either the path or even the end destination. Like, it could be different.
It is funny, right? And we talked about this, I think it was last week, with Ryan Flynn. And he was like, he's trying to get some of his undergrads to think about what's 5 years from now look like. And like I'm really in line with you, Lauren. It's like, have a kind of direction, like have a North Star, like this is me, this is my values, this is what I'm good at. But allow for that expansiveness.
Yeah.
Because if you would have said to me 5 years ago, I would be in Costa Rica, I would have written a book, I would have done a TED Talk, I would have pivoted careers. Like, I didn't even know executive coaching existed 5 years ago. I mean, marginally, but it was like, I could not have imagined this. Right. And so it's like, that's that's one thing I just want to give to folks, right? Is your lesson on curiosity and expansiveness. That's the real magic here. And when you know who you are, and you're strong in your values and your strengths and what you love, that's when you can fit those pieces together, right? And you're not just like, oh, well, this is the first job that came and said, hey, Rob, do you want it? And then you said, yeah, right? Along those lines, Lauren, so of course, this show's a lot about like networking and building connections with the MIT folks. What is one of your, or how can the MIT 2010 support you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this moment, it's inspire me. I mean, I have time, I have energy. If you have a project you want to talk about, or you have a problem you're working on in your life, like, let's talk about it. Like, let's see what we can do. I'm really big into communities. I create a lot of spaces to bring people together. And that's one of the things that I value really heavily in my life. And it's really around bringing very different types of people together to spark something that is less the like, oh, we have a shared interest, but more we can intellectually debate about really complex and cool ideas. And so if you're someone who wants to talk about those kind of things, if you want to meet other people like that, or I can help you tap into a different kind of network, those are the things that are powerful. Those are the things that are fun too.
I definitely want to tap into that network. And of course, I'm happy to allow folks to tap into my network as well as what I do. So, along those lines, Lauren, what are some types of people that would be helpful for you to meet?
See, that's a hard question because I don't want to say anything limiting. Like, there's a lot of people that I think would be really interesting for me to meet. Things that right now I'm really interested in is someone who has a really clear vision of something they are trying to work towards, but maybe don't know how the operations of it comes together. Whether it be
Yeah.
how do you find the right kind of people and motivate the people to do it? How do you find the right kind of process and build that out? Or what kind of technology you need? Like the space itself can be pretty, universal. Obviously, I have expertise in certain things, but mostly I want to nerd out. Like, tell me your problems. Like, let's work on it. I mean, I might be sitting on, a beach in Costa Rica, or I might be, having pasta in Rome, but I still want to work on the hardest problems possible. So, yeah. And also tell me your favorite book. I need a reading list right now. So please, everyone that's listens to this, please send me the best book I need to read over the next 18 months. My Kindle is stock full right now, and I'm just going to crush all of my favorite words that are coming.
Well, I'll give you a good book. It's called No Bad Parts by Dr. Richard Schwartz. It's about internal family systems therapy and but done in a kind of a easier digestible way. But it's definitely a great book. In September you'll be able to get my books, so of course. And then
Well,
also plug for Daryl Fairweather, a former guest of the show, also a 2010. She's got her book out there, Hate the Game.
I will say on the book element of it, okay, this was not set up. I promise everyone who's listening to this, but I actually just opened No Bad Parts yesterday. So
Amazing.
it was next on my reading list. I wish I had my Kindle right here just to show you, to make sure you think I wasn't BSing you. But yeah, I started reading it last night. Got only 10 pages into it, so very just
So
cracked the
you're
corner of
still
it. But yeah,
reading the Alanis Morissette forward.
exactly.
Well, if you ever want to meet Dick, I can make that happen. Yeah. And I guess, Lauren, on that same line of thinking, how would you like to impact the world?
So I care a lot about influence things on a macro scale, but also much more about the micro. I talked a little bit about communities. Communities are really important to me. So my impact to the world will be through my son. It'll be through the people I loved, the people I meet, the people I connect, even the ones I give a smile to on the street. I think my impact in this world will be making other people much more impactful, helping them unlock their superpowers and figure out where they want to go and figure out what they want to do next, giving them the communities or the support or the hand when they need it. But it's going to be through the work of others. It's going to be my influence and helping other people find their goals.
Amazing. I love that. And I mean, do you have any communities that you want to tell our listeners about? And of course, I think part of where we're going to talk about in May is starting our own communities, or at least getting more of these going, because I know Camo and I and a number of other MIT 2010s want to stay more connected. So do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah. So communities are, I mean, even itself, what is a community? How do you define it? What does that look like? Has been something that I am a nerd at heart, so I've thought about this topic a lot. But so I have certain communities that are very much more formally structured. So I'm a part of the Council of Foreign Relations. I'm part of the New York Economic Club. There are these elements that bring people who are excited about very interesting topics and willing to discuss them in a certain way into similar rooms. So if anyone's interested in any of those kind of formal organizations, I have some connections there. I also have connections with people who are just like the leading experts in the finance and data and technology and analytics. So if you're looking to get into a certain company, like look to see if I am connected with anyone there, I'm more than willing to give intros or to help people like even know if it's going to be a good fit for them, because I do have some understanding of like what they're looking for, and maybe that can help. And then last, I'm actually a very big fan of informal communities. So I do things like I host a book club, but I also host like an art club that like people just come together once every 2 weeks and do art together. We have a movie club, which is really all about shaming someone who has not seen something so iconic like The Breakfast Club. And you're like, how have you done this? Which was actually a big problem because for about 6 months, my son kept telling everyone his favorite movie was Risky Business. Yeah, Mother of the Year award right there. But also tonight I have another group that it's a random chain of about 80 people across New York from so many different like walks of life. And they'll email out being like, hey, I have a reservation at this place for 8 people, who's in? And that's been one of the things that I found really exciting, is like starting those kind of like initiatives that allow people to step outside of their everyday and get to connect in different ways with different kinds of people and on topics that they're excited about.
That's so cool and so much fun. I had a question, I lost it.
Don't worry, I'll come back.
Yeah. No, it's really cool that you're doing that. Yeah, it's really incredible that the communities are coming together. Lauren, how would you like folks to reach out and connect with you?
So if you want to connect with me, LinkedIn is usually a great way to find me. My name is unique, so I am the Lauren Cipicchio. I can say that. So if you find me, it's me. And or obviously through the Connect portal and emails and all of that works perfectly fine. Also, give me a call. Want to get coffee? Sounds great. I'll probably be in your city sometime in the next year. And I always want to have a reason to go to a new city. So inspire me with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, really cool. So I dropped Lauren's LinkedIn is in the podcast notes. And I remembered the question I wanted to ask you. Obviously, I interviewed at a bunch of finance firms, as most MIT folks probably did. What's the craziest interview question you've ever been asked on a finance interview?
Ooh, craziest question. So it's not really even a crazy question, but I will tell you about a very crazy interview. I went into the interview and the person asked me to describe some project that I was working on. And I started doing it. I started explaining the project, explaining the technical details behind it, some of the analytical methods that we used. It was very much a tech-focused kind of conversation. And in the middle of it, he starts shuffling cards. I was like, okay, just, nervous habit, people fidget, it's fine, have fun. And then all of a sudden he starts dealing out cards. And then in the middle, he's like, do you know how to play gin rummy? And I'm like, well, yeah, 10 years ago, but I don't really remember the rules right now. He's like, I really wanted to play a hand right now. Okay, I guess we'll get back to the question. And it was this complete non sequitur that I just was like, okay. Either you're really on top of things to see if people can get a distraction and then continue to talk about what they want to do, or you just really wanted to play gin rummy. And to this day, have no idea.
That's hilarious. Also, I play a lot of card games. I've never played gin rummy, but I guess I got to move into an old folks home and get rolling. Awesome. Lauren, this was an incredible interview. I totally want to, obviously we want to stay in touch, but I want to hear about all the places that you've gone and been. So we're definitely going to stay in touch.
Good.
And for folks out there, of course, Lauren's LinkedIn is in the podcast notes. You can reach out to her there. Obviously for me, you can find my LinkedIn and also my website, and you can email me, rob@robcalvarowski.com, all there. And incredible to have you. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all next week.